Hey everyone, my name is Deepesh and I'm one of the PTE experts here at Ultimate Language Academy in Sydney. Recently in 2020, a lot of students, they are struggling to get their 79 plus score in their speaking section, and even the students who used to have their 79 plus score or even 90 in their speaking in 2019, they are not really getting their 79 plus score in 2020. And what I find is that one of the main reasons for this is the describe image. And as you guys know, describe image is one of the most important tasks in your speaking section, and it is actually the only task that gives all of its marks only in the speaking section. And because of the changes that happened in 2020, the old way to do the describe image is not working anymore. The content that used to work in 2019 is not working anymore, and the way you speak, your pronunciation and your fluency is not working anymore as well. And hence the reason that a lot of students are failing their describe image. And guys, I guarantee you, if you fail your describe image, you are going to fail your speaking section. And if you are one of the students that has failed the describe image in 2020, or if you are one of the students wishing to take the exam in 2020, then I strongly recommend you guys to watch this video till the very end, because I'm going to explain all the changes that happened in your describe image, and I'm also going to give you guys all the tips, tricks and techniques that can be used in 2020 to get your full points in describe image. So let me start with the brief summary of what I'm going to talk about in this video. So first of all, I'm going to talk about the task description of the describe image, and then I'm going to explain the marking criteria of the describe image, and then finally I'll give you guys the tips and techniques that can be used in each of those criteria to get your full points in the describe image. So let's start with the task description. Guys, describe image is a really simple task. In this task, you'll be given an image in front of you, and the image could be anything. The most common images are your bar graph, your line graph, your pie chart, your maps, your process cycles, your tables, and sometimes you are given the random pictures as well. So random pictures could be anything. It could be the picture of this computer in here, it could be the picture of this table in here, or it could literally be anything. And once you have this image in front of you, you'll get 25 seconds of preparation time, and then once that preparation time is over, you'll hear a beep sound, which means that your recording has been started, and then you'll be given another 40 seconds to finish up your answer. So let me show you what the describe image looks like in my screen in here. So this is how the describe image looks like in your exam, guys. You'll be given image over here, and then you have a recording box over here. That is the preparation time. Once this preparation time is over, this bar will start to move on, and then you have to start speaking. So this is it, guys. This is your describe image. So before I jump into the marking criteria, there are two important things that you need to keep in mind. The first is, if you are looking to get your high band score, your 7, 8 or 9 band score, then make sure you guys speak at least above 30 seconds. Now I strongly recommend you guys to speak for about 35 or 36 seconds or till the very end of your recording. But again, if you are consistently speaking above 30 seconds, then you should be able to get your desired score. And another important thing to keep in mind is your 3-second rule. In your speaking section, there is a rule called 3-second rule, which means that if you have a pause longer than 3 seconds in your recording, then your recording is going to stop and you won't be marked any further. So either at the start of the recording or in the middle of the recording, you cannot have any pause longer than 3 seconds. Especially at the beginning of the recording, once you hear the beep sound, if you do not speak within the first 3 seconds, you are going to lose the whole question. So guys, keep this 3-second rule in your mind while doing the describe image. Now let's talk about the marking criteria of the describe image. There are 3 criteria that will determine your describe image marks: content, pronunciation and your fluency. Now if you guys have failed your speaking section, then you probably have a very low score in your fluency, or if you need a really high band score in your speaking section, then you really need a high band score in your fluency. That makes the fluency the most important criteria in your speaking section and the most important criteria in our describe image as well. So let's start with your oral fluency or fluency. Your fluency basically means having a smooth, connected and continuous speech. So to ensure that you guys get the full points in your fluency, there are few things I want you to follow, and there are few things you need to avoid. So there are 3 important things that you need to avoid while speaking your describe image. The first is your hesitations. So you cannot have any kind of hesitation noises like or ah. So all of these noises that we tend to make in our natural speaking, you absolutely cannot have any of these in your describe image or in your speaking section. The second thing to avoid is your self-corrections. Now, if you are speaking something and if you make mistakes, then if you go back and correct your mistakes, that is called self-corrections. and you cannot have any kind of self-correction in your PTE speaking. If you make any mistakes while speaking, do not go back and correct yourself. Keep speaking forward, keep going forward, do not come back. So another important thing you need to avoid is your unnatural pauses. Now these unnatural pauses are playing a big part in determining your fluency score in 2020. If you pause in the place where you are not supposed to pause, for example, if you pause in the place where there is no commas, no full stops, or no any connecting words, then those pauses are called unnatural pauses. And now this pauses tends to happen if you think in between your lines. And so if you are speaking something and if you are not really sure what to say next, you tend to think there for a split second and you make the pause. That's why I call these pauses as thinking pauses. Now earlier in 2019, these pauses didn't have much effect in your fluency score. If you are speaking a little bit faster, or if you had that connected speech in most of the places, then you would get your 90 in your fluency in 2019. But in 2020, you absolutely cannot have any of these pauses in your speaking. So even if these pauses are really small pauses, really unnoticeable pauses, the computer algorithm is going to catch these pauses and you will be penalized for that. So in 2020, if you are looking for a high band in your fluency, guys, make sure you avoid these unnatural pauses as much as possible. Now the best way to get rid of these unnatural pauses is to be 100% comfortable with your template. So whichever template you guys are using for the describe image, make sure you guys practice that template hundreds of times. Make sure you guys read aloud that template hundreds of times and be 100% comfortable with your template. Because if you are not 100% comfortable, you are going to make a lot of pauses, you are going to make a lot of mistakes. And another thing is, when you are speaking, do not think in between the lines. You have 25 seconds of preparation time. Do all the thinking in there. Figure out all the things you need from the image in that preparation time, and once the recording starts, you have to stop thinking. You just have to speak out the template as you have practiced hundreds of times before. So that's the best way to get rid of these unnatural pauses. So guys, these are the things you need to avoid in your oral fluency. And now there are a few things you need to follow in order to get your full points in fluency. The first one is speak at natural and comfortable pace. Now do not speak too slow that causes your speech to be disconnected. Like, if it sounds one word at a time, don't read like one word at a time. But also, you don't have to speak like a bullet. You don't have to speak too fast. The main thing here is to be comfortable with your pace. So whatever pace you are speaking with, you need to be comfortable with that. If you are not comfortable, then you are going to make mistakes in there and you are going to lose marks in there. And another thing to do is speak at a constant pace. So don't speak faster somewhere and slower somewhere else. So this kind of variations in speech tends to happen. Like when students, they have the template, right? And so first part of the template, what they do is they speak really slow and with a really comfortable pace. And when they see the time running out, when they see the timer, then they rush out the template. They speak really fast the second half of the template. Now this will cause a major problem in your fluency as well. Make sure you guys know the time limit at the very beginning and organize your time properly and speak out all the template in the same pace. Now the third thing you need to do is you should give pauses in your commas and full stops. Now this is another thing that differs from 2019. So earlier in 2019, if you had a fast speech, if you speak like a bullet, you'd get your marks in fluency. But in 2020, you need to make sure that you are giving appropriate pauses. So pauses in your commas and full stops, especially in your full stops, guys, you need to give one clear pause in there. Utilize this pause as an opportunity to take a breath and to minimize any risk of running out of breath in the middle of the sentence and making any unnatural pauses. Guys, these are the list of do's and don'ts you can see in the screen. Make sure you guys follow these do's and don'ts and you will be able to get your full marks in your fluency in 2020. Now over to the pronunciation, guys. Pronunciation in your describe image or even in your speaking section is not really that important. What I mean by that is, so even if you have 50s or 60s score in your pronunciation, you would be able to get your 79 plus score in your speaking section. You guys can check our results in the Facebook. A lot of students, even with the 50 pronunciation or 60 pronunciation marks, getting their 79 plus score in their speaking section. So even though the pronunciation marks itself is not that important, you need to make sure that your speech is being detected by the computer. So whatever you are speaking, you need to make sure that computer is catching those words. For that, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. One, speak as clear as possible. Guys, open up your mouth a bit more and speak as clear as possible. Second, speak a bit louder. Speaking a little bit louder helps in your pronunciation and clarity as well. Do not speak too soft. do not whisper to yourself. And another thing guys, do not speak too fast. If you speak too fast, computer might not be able to detect those words and you will lose a lot of marks in your pronunciation. Now to ensure that your speaking is clear and is being properly detected by the computer, use the speech detection tool and check your speaking in there. There are a lot of these tools available online. Guys, I'll leave the link for one of these tools in the description box below. Make sure you guys check it out there and practice a little bit in there as well. Now over to the content guys. Content is one of the most misunderstood criteria in your describe image, and this is one of the criteria where a lot of things changed in the 2020. So earlier in 2020 the content was not that relevant, so even if you didn't include a lot of things from your images, you would still get a lot of marks in your describe image. But that is not the case anymore in 2020. If you are looking to get full points in your describe image, there are few keywords that you absolutely need to put in your describe image. So there are 5 keywords that you need to put in your describe image. The first one is your type of image. So whatever the type of image it is, whether it is a bar graph, line graph or pie chart, make sure you guys include the name of that image at least once in your response. And the second important thing you need to include is the heading of the image. So you have the image in front of you, the heading written in the top, that is an important keyword. So make sure you guys include the heading as well. And if your image does not have any heading, then look at the image, see what the image is about and make up your own heading and use that in your response. And the third important thing you need to include in your image is the elements in the image. So elements in the image are the things that makes up the image, the things that includes in the image. So for example, if it is your bar graph, then all the words written in there, all the dates written in there, the axis names, the names of the legends, they are all the elements of your graphs. And if it is any other random pictures, then whatever you can see in the images, whatever the images is made up of, then those are your elements of the image. So let me show you one quick example in my screen. For example, in this image, the elements in the image are chairs, table, stage, screen. These are all the elements of the image. So these elements are extremely important for your describe image as well, and make sure you guys include as many of those possible in your response. Now the fourth important thing to include in your content is the numbers present in your graphs. So the numbers of the graph are also very important keywords, so make sure you guys include as many of those possible in your response as well. And the last and one of the important thing you need to put in your response is your conclusion. Conclusion is a must-have thing in your describe image. It does not matter how you conclude, it does not matter how you give your conclusion, but it is important that you give a conclusion before you finish up your response. Type of image, heading, elements in the image, numbers in the image, and conclusion. Guys, these 5 things covers up all of your content. The rest of the things you can put whatever you want to and speak for 35 seconds with a proper pronunciation and proper fluency, and you will be able to get 15 out of 15 points in your describe image in 2020. So all these tips, all these techniques and all these strategies I showed you are based on the template that we designed recently, and I have checked that template myself personally and got my 90 band score. And a lot of my students have been using this template to get their 7 band, 8 band or 9 band score in 2020. And in my next video, I'm going to show you guys that template, and I'm also going to show you guys how to use that template for different type of images, and that video should be out anytime soon. So guys, to keep updated, please subscribe our channel and like our videos. Guys, also if you have any question regarding this video or describe image, mention in the comment below and I'll address them as soon as possible. And guys, thank you so much for watching the video. All the best and good luck for your PTE preparation. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.